Have you seen the commissions on the Selling Sunset reality show? They're not real. Have you seen it yet?
I've watched every single episode of that show.
It's
I'm a fan.
Listen, it's widely entertaining. I watch it. It's good, but let's just break down. It's just not accurate. So like, if you look at a house that's sold for, let's say, $10 million, and they show at, so let's say it's $10 million and there's a 5% listing agreement, and then there's one agent on one side, and so they make 2.5% of that. So they'll show on the screen, okay, $10 million house is sold. The buyer's agent makes $250,000, but they do, but that's not what they actually take home. And I think that's the misleading part. So actually, as an agent, this is how it actually breaks down. You sell a $10 million home, that's a shit ton of money, and that's awesome. Congratulations.
Good for you.
Usually the average listing agreement is about 5 to 6%. Let's say it's 5%. So that's $500,000 to be split between the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So if you're the listing agent and I'm the buyer's agent, you get $250 and I get $250, and that's kind of the numbers they're putting on the show. But what they don't tell you is that my $250,000, I work for a broker, and in the show they all work for a broker. So they have a broker split, which means that the broker is taking a percentage of that $250,000. So a standard kind of broker split for those types of brokerages, because they're higher dollar figures, is usually a 60-40 or 70-30. So if I sell a $10 million home, I make $250,000, 2.5%. My broker is taking 40% of that, and I'm keeping 60%. So I'm actually only keeping $150,000 of my $250,000 commission. Oh, and that's before I have to pay taxes on it. Assuming I'm making that much, you have to assume in a 30% tax bracket. So my $150,000 actually gets taxed at 30% because I haven't paid any taxes yet. So I'm really only taking home like $100,000 of that $250 that they put on the screen. So
wow.
Still a shit ton of money, don't get me wrong, but it's not realistic. Of like, people, they're inflating how much they make.
So let me ask you something. Those brokers, the twin brothers, let's just say, right? They're taking 40% to provide a fancy office with crazy looking desks and
yeah,
what?
But they're also probably giving these agents leads.
Okay.
They are, so like, there's a lot that goes into owning a brokerage. And so maybe it's a 70-30 split, but even 30%, like, how much do you think that office is that they rent?
Oh, it's a lot. It's gotta be a lot.
Yeah.
So they're paying rent, right? They need to recoup that.
They're paying rent. They gotta so the difference between, like, here's what's crazy, is that it's almost the same amount of work, like selling a $200,000 house here and making $5,000, or selling a $2 million house. Like the process, the buying process is the exact same. The difference is your marketing costs in marketing that $2 million house. Like, you are probably going all out, professional photos, videographer, you're kind of blasting it all over, the world, essentially. You're getting buyers from all over the world. So your cost, your overhead cost is a lot more expensive than selling a $200,000 house. But once you get an offer that's accepted, the process is the exact same.
Dude, I could not agree more with you.
I need to be
so
selling
it's
more.
the same thing on the lending side.
Really?
Yes, I've done a lot of small loans. One particular client I've done a lot for. He is absolutely amazing, no complaints whatsoever. I will do 1 million loans for him. But I've done other small ones. These people are, like, we're talking under $100,000 loan amounts, where the process is, to be completely honest with you, probably harder.
That's insane.
Yes, it's probably harder than doing a huge loan, because, like, now you got to work with a lender that also knows they're not really going to be making much money on this loan that they're going to be doing the same amount of work on. So, like, is there something to be said about just maybe targeting higher homes? Like, for you, like, properties around here, like $1 million plus, that's doesn't come around a lot.
Not at
California, where Selling Sunset is, all the time, everything.
Yeah, I mean, your cost of living is a lot higher, or our cost of living here in Connecticut isn't that bad. But yeah, I mean, the difference is that it only takes 1, 2, maybe 3 homes, like high-end multi-million-dollar homes, to be sold a year to make the same amount of money as a very active agent who sold like 50 homes here, right? So like we're actually working harder selling less expensive homes than you are on more expensive homes. They'll sit on the market a lot longer, and you probably have a lot more pressure to perform. but ultimately, like, it's the same amount of money.
Wow. So there's something to be said about maybe targeting these higher priced areas? Wow.
Absolutely.
That's crazy that what you see on the screen there, when they sell that house for $10 million, that's not what they make.
It's still a lot of money, but it's not, it's pretty much cut it in half.
So are these flipping shows the same? Because I think they are.
Exact same thing.
When they get that net profit, they're not taking into account attorney fees, taxes,
closing costs,
all that kind of stuff.
Nothing.
It's not like they bought for 100, put 50 into it, sold it for 200. 200 minus 150 is 50. That's the net
Dude,
profit.
you'd be loaded if that was the case.
Oh my gosh.
No, you have so many closing costs, yeah. Wow. Dude, the parties these people throw, like the preview parties, the broker opens, like they are insane. They leave, like, they spare no expense. And they're showing up in Rolls Royces, Mercedes. Like, dude, I showed a $700,000 in sweatpants the other day because I was going to the gym after. I mean, they were good friends of mine. I don't always do that, but just a stark difference of like, going to an open house and like, I don't know what I prefer. Like, trying to fit the part, keeping up with the Joneses. You know, I have to buy expensive tailor-made suits. I have to buy expensive cars. Like, all that is extremely hard to keep up with versus just like, yeah, let me go sell, you know, a couple of $500,000-$700,000 homes. I'll show up in sweatpants, like, you know, I don't know. It's like,
I think you've got to look at like, does that sell? Do you think that like you could sell that house showing up in sweatpants? Some of these houses on selling Sunset.
Hell no, absolutely
no,
not.
absolutely not.
No.
They
People
are
laugh you out.
Like their wardrobes have got to be millions of dollars. What those women wear is first of all pretty.
No,
they're scantily
clad. I
clad.
watch the show.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, you can't roll up there. Like I couldn't roll up there in my little Subaru that I drive here. Like they'd be like, "I'm sorry, are you the house cleaner or like, what's the story?" Like you can't do that. Like, and I don't know. I'm sort of back and forth on that, but I think in that market you have to do that.
Oh, 1,000%.
Even in the markets in Connecticut, Greenwich, you can't show up in like some hoopty dressed like a bum.
So it goes both ways because I recently bought like a pretty nice car, and you know, I like definitely felt good about rolling up to nicer homes like when I'm showing them and I get out and like, I don't know, maybe I'm wearing a nice outfit that day, whatever. But on the other hand, we were wholesaling a deal in Holyoke. I don't know if I told you this, but we were wholesaling a deal in Holyoke, Mass, which is not a great area. And I rolled up in my BMW. And I got out and the guy was like, well, at least someone around here has money. That's the owner of the property that I'm trying to like sell. And I'm like, oh.
You're not getting a discount on that.
You're not, yeah, I'm not getting a discount.
That's a good point because.
So it's like, where do you draw the line?
I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. Like if I was getting work done on my house and someone rolls up in a brand new truck, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'd rather you rolled up in some beat, you know, truck with dents and stuff in it. Cause I don't know, it's a mental thing. Like I just feel like, I'm not going to get taken for everything.
Do you want to be the investor where everyone knows how much money you make, or do you want to be the guy that drives around that 2000 Honda Civic and meanwhile you're absolutely loaded but no one knows that? So I'd love to hear what people's thoughts are. Like, if you're investing in real estate or you're a lender, you're a broker, like are you driving a nice fancy car and you're showing up in that and you're kind of flaunting it out a little bit, maybe you're not too pompous, but or are you rolling in a very modest car and like you're kind of keeping all your wealth to the private? So leave your comments below. I'd love to. You know, I kind of see both sides. You know, we could probably do a whole video on that too. So.
Yeah, we could.
If you like the show, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, we still watch it. It's still entertaining. Great. It's reality. You know, reality TV. It's fun to watch. But if you ever sold a home that expensive, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So make sure to leave a comment below and just remember, sky's the limit. And we'll see you next time.